Hello and welcome to Outside Xbox. You're watching Show of the Week, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike. This week I was pleased to see they went with a new stealth gadget that is suggestive of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Rocket to punch! 신도 비총세.
You and Kojima are such a bad influence on each other.
I know. Yeah, it's not the body part I originally suggested fly off and hit people in the face, but it'll do, I suppose.
Well, it's one way of infiltrating a building.
Why? How would you do it?
It's like I always say, Mike, if you can't go over it, you can't go under it, and you can't go around it, the only way is through. That applies as much to the wall of a building you're trying to infiltrate as to the parking barrier when I'm out of change. The upcoming Rainbow Six Siege knows what I'm talking about. In this squad-based tactical shooter, your job is to bash through the walls, doors, windows and floors of a building in which some naughty baddies have holed up with a hostage or bomb or what have you. You might alternatively be playing as the naughty baddies with the hostage, in which case look out for the elite home-wrecking Rainbow Six team, who will be up in your grill momentarily with sledgehammers, breaching charges and lots of guns. They're surprisingly aggressive for a team named after the rainbow, nature's prettiest meteorological phenomenon, except for the Aurora Borealis, obviously. Ow! Alright, rainbows are prettier. In more excellent work naming things, the game's destruction engine is named Real Blast, and it does detailed procedural demolition like nobody's business. Not all the levels will be as ultra smashable as this flimsy suburban home, but they'll all have at least some walls that can be breached. Destructible environments create plenty of possible pathways for getting into and around buildings, which will keep both defenders and attackers on their toes. The single-player or co-op campaign, meanwhile, resembles that intense sieging multiplayer, but follows a storyline in which you're hunting down a baddie called White Mask, guess what he wears, for your boss Angela Bassett, aka Six.
As of this moment, my program is reactivated, and I am handing over command of all global field operations to you.
Playing Rainbow Six Siege's new take on terrorist hunt mode recently, we got a buzz that reminded us of the exciting tactical action of Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2, both classics in their own time. When Six Siege comes out on October the 13th, Xbox One players can compare and contrast for themselves, because publisher Ubisoft is chucking in a free copy of Vegas and Vegas 2, both running on the Xbox One thanks to the new backwards compatibility. Until then, I have to keep in check my impulse to smash through obstacles, because all the walls left in the Outside Xbox studio are load-bearing ones. Ugh.
So I don't know why they called them Rainbow Six. It sounds so friendly, like a group of children's entertainers or something.
Ooh, maybe that's why they chose it, so no one expects them to come smashing through the wall with a breaching charge at 5 AM. Sorry about it, buildings.
Honestly, what did buildings ever do to video games?
Rainbow Six Siege's obsession with smashing its levels into matchsticks makes us think it's got a bitter grudge against the buildings themselves, like maybe a building killed its parents. But it's not the only game that hates unobliterated architecture, oh no. Battlefield Bad Company 2 was so besotted with demolishing man-made structures that it bribed its players to flatten buildings with achievements, dishing out gamerscore in return for wanton destruction. The achievement Demolish gave you 15G for wrecking your first house, then Demolish Part 2 gave you a further 30G for reducing 50 houses to very, very fine rubble. Destroying 50 houses amounts to razing entire settlements in Bad Company 2 like a small, extremely localised hurricane. Hope there was no one actually living there. Red Faction Armageddon was basically a thinly veiled excuse for taking Mars to pieces, one Martian building at a time. In particular, Red Faction Armageddon's hyper-powerful magnet gun was your make physics happen button, in that it stuck an insanely powerful magnet on one bit of destructible scenery, another insanely powerful magnet on another bit of destructible scenery, and left them to sort it out among themselves. Red Faction Armageddon went as far as giving you Ruin Mode, a challenge mode in which your only challenge was to wreck up as much stuff as possible, as fast as possible, using sci-fi power tools. Up yours, infrastructure. We didn't actually finish the game, but we assume in the final level you annihilate Mars itself, mashing the whole actual red planet into red dust by using Earth's moon as an interplanetary wrecking ball. Is that right? Battlefield 4's appetite for destruction was so enormous it had to invent a word for it. Levolution, a whole new term for knocking down buildings real good. That's right, the English language couldn't adequately express Battlefield 4's fetish for seeing tall edifices topple over. Is this a Freudian thing, Battlefield 4? We all know what towers symbolise. The Just Cause series loves explosions so much it should probably just marry them, but if the Just Cause 3 footage we've seen so far is anything to go by, we ain't seen nothing yet. For a start, Rico now has multiple tethers he can use to tie things together, which can then be winched into, I don't know, make a statue, facepalm its own head off. You also have Infinity C4 for blowing stuff up and a wide variety of vehicles to crash into buildings that have the temerity to be standing unexploded in your presence. If that all sounds like too much effort, why not just fire rockets at everything until it falls down? It certainly worked on this bridge. '86 arcade classic Rampage blazed a trail by demonstrating that yes, you can base an entire game just on smashing buildings to bits. And before you say that's not a plot, it's apparently enough plot for a Rampage movie adaptation starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No, for real. You play as George, Lizzie or Ralph, normal humans turned into giant mutated beasts by a corporation called Scum Labs, who sound like a big hit with the Environmental Protection Agency. Then you systematically destroy every major and several minor US cities, and that's it. Also, hey, it seems like George from Rampage invented the fist bump. Hey, you learn a new, totally untrue thing every day.
Now it's time to see what you've been writing in the comments and asking Siri.
Yes, Jane sucks at Halo.
Firstly, your comment on this video about our appalling stealth skills.
Oops, that's a grenade. Sorry, that was me. I apologise.
It seems like Mike's not the only one, as proved by this incident from the stealth career of Drakenguards, who says, I remember in Payday 2, my buddies and I were doing really well stealthing on a bank mission. We moved the civilians into one room. There were at least 10 plus people in there. A little later on, one of my friends hit the wrong button on his keyboard and ended up throwing a grenade into that civilian room.
I'm sure they understood.
Lassie676, meanwhile, still can't believe that you shot Barrister Timpsch from there. It really shouldn't have worked. It took me hours to work my way around his stupid house undetected and kill him, but no, you shot him from the roof opposite. Ugh.
What can I say? I'm a stealth master.
Not get with a pistol from... Oh,
No way!
Jesus Christ.
Not according to Gabriel Knights, who offers the following assessment. The Outside Xbox philosophy on stealth. Mike, you can't raise an alarm if there's no one left alive to do so. Andy, I'll just wait in this hole here and outlive the guards. Jane, death and carnage all around. That is actually what is printed on my business card.
Hey, nice fake blood splatter.
Yeah, fake. Next up, your comments about this daring GTA Online raid on a farm to steal a tanker of meth.
Lonely Wanderer thinks that Farming Simulator would be much more interesting if you could make meth on the side.
Farming Simulator would be much more interesting if you could anything on the side.
Meanwhile, Laslock fondly remembers that time Andy tried to shoot farmers with a smartphone.
Right. Now I'll need a weapon. No, that's my phone.
Maybe he thought he could throw it really hard at them.
Sure, let's say that. Lots of Fontano chimes in saying, I was tempted to ask if it is a challenge to drive on the opposite side of the road, and then 606 happened. Oh, Jane.
Ow! Oh, So in answer to your question, no, that's pretty much how I drive anywhere.
Let's move on to the comments on last week's Show of the Week about Mirror's Edge Catalyst and the least regrettable tattoos in games.
Not Agent 47, the tattoo-having assassin of Hitman fame. His is permanently inked right there on the back of his skull in a barcode and serial number that contains all his essential personal information. You'd need a barcode scanner to read it, sure, but I assume he could just stick his head under one of those self-service checkouts.
RMGB TV has some behind-the-scenes gossip saying, unfortunately, the guy who put the barcode on the back of Hitman's head messed up, and it's actually for a Tesco's own brand tin of baked beans.
Is that why I was charged $20,000 and put on an Interpol watch list for buying these? Someone ought to fix that.
So Methos, meanwhile, says, it's too bad if they're actually getting rid of the falling/crunching sound in Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It was kind of an extra motivator not to fall. I winced every single time and put in an extra effort not to fall, so I didn't have to hear that sound again.
What, this sound?
Harsh.
So I thought to celebrate Outside Xbox hitting 1 million subscribers, we could all get team tattoos.
Okay, like what?
Finally, IDoGam3S has a suggestion for our team tattoo, saying, you guys should all get a QR code tattoo that takes you to the Outside Xbox website.
Way ahead of you.
Mike, this is an eBay listing for the 1990s VHS board game Atmosphere.
God damn it, I knew I shouldn't have drawn it myself. I need to go find some lasers. Oh, do you want this phone that you drew down here?
No, I'm done with Siri. I'm going to use Cortana now. Cortana, tell me about local movie times.
Master Chief, I'm going to use your suit's transcom system to monitor their chatter.
Well, you're no help.
That's it for Show of the Week, but if my calculations are correct, if you all press the like button at the same time, it might just be enough to shift the Earth out of the path of the orbital death laser that might be aimed at the Earth at this very moment.
Do the right thing. Thanks for watching.
All right, nice. Do you want to get something to eat?
Now I've got my lunch hour sorted.
Ooh, shotgun the top hat.
Different game.
No.